Remarque is a writer that is not analyzed enough in the circles of psychology, or at least not in any that I am part of. However, especially in the era of demonized masculinity and purposeless men, Remarque's novels should resonate loudly. I believe his work should be held above the likes of Hemingway and right next to Franz Kafka or Albert Camus. The purpose of this essay is not to stand as a stale analysis or, God forbid, a review of his bibliography. It is not what this channel is about, but rather as a monument to his work in hopes of inspiring people to delve into his novels for themselves. For Europe has endured enough of hell on earth and must never forget the millions of lessons decaying in mass graves. Erich Maria Remarque's extraordinariness stems from the, optimistically put, unique time and place in history that the author found himself in. Remarque lived through Imperial Germany, World War I, then the catastrophic interwar period of hyperinflation, and then, just for good measure, through the rise of Nazi Germany and World War II. He witnessed the fall of Europe not from the first row but rather from backstage. This alone is an invaluable perspective. Remarque was not blind to the catastrophe that took place. The utter disappointment and hopelessness that this author felt when Germany was repeating its mistake leading up to the Second World War shines forth through his later works such as The Black Obelisk and A Time to Love and A Time to Die. The latter, lesser-known novel is a remarkable and sobering insight into Nazi Germany through the eyes of a soldier, a regular young man, returning from the front lines to his hometown. While this novel does not feature the greatest of Remarque's storylines, it is exceptional for its context. Being quite far removed from those times, we tend now to naively vilify and label those people as monsters, hence not human like us, because the thought that any one of us could have easily been a Nazi is horrifying and therefore unacceptable for the cushioned modern mind. A Time to Love and A Time to Die shows the reality of the situation sleepwalking Germans of the time found themselves in. It shows that most people were merely trying to adapt and survive. Many were, willingly or not, unconscious of their decisions. Many did not subscribe to or believe in the ideology. Step by step, they abandoned their personal responsibility and grew ever drowsy, until one day, ridiculously enough as that sounds, they were woken up from their sleep and found themselves in an appalling situation with no right answer except death. It is crucial to understand that the line between good and evil crosses through nothing else except our hearts, as brilliantly Solzhenitsyn stated and was incredibly demonstrated by A Time to Love and A Time to Die. The famous All Quiet on the Western Front is Remarque's writing at its finest. This novel, and especially the scene with the dying horse, is what opened my eyes to the greatness of reading. I could hear the damn cry of the dying horse through nothing else but letters. And I could not have picked a better time to read it, as I was around 18 years old myself. At minimum, this book from Remarque's catalog should be read by all, young men especially. Europe cannot allow itself to repeat the mistakes of our forefathers, however hard the woke are trying to. And this novel is among the best to capture and illustrate those past errors. Free Comrades is another example of Remarque's finest, although it is drastically different in its direction, not being so much about war itself but rather using the interwar period as tone and background for a love story. It still hits all the classic notes of Remarque's writing. A masculine woman as the romantic interest, post-war nihilistic soldiers, drinking scenes with the characters seemingly having livers made of metal, and various antics and schemes to turn a profit. More seriously, Remarque was an incredible psychological observer because he could sense and greatly depict the overall psyche of his nation. Free Comrades, along with perhaps The Black Obelisk, are the best portrayals of vanishing morality and its uselessness during times of unfathomable chaos to us modern people. This literary exploration of morality and virtue among men who lost their purpose is the defining feature of Remarque's writing and precisely what makes him one of the greats. Remarque is a voice of the masculine. Young, naive men who were desperately looking for purpose in life were the unfortunate backbones of any historical revolution or movement. Those same men were the ones in the dirt defending their homelands from murderous ideology embodied in a pretty uniform. Funnily enough, a uniform which now has its elements adored in current fashion trends. Those young men have barely, if anything, to do with the ambitions of their great rotten leaders. Yet they're the ones out there getting each other's legs amputated, spines shattered, heads squashed, and if lucky, blown to bits by a grenade or tank shell. Yet these young men are no monsters, not more than me or you are at least. They have dreams, ambitions, aspirations. They have mothers and fathers. They have the need for purpose and meaning. This was brilliantly captured in the most famous scene from All Quiet on the Western Front. However, the days of men getting used for their unmatchable earthly strength seem to be past us. In the days of cultural and environmental movements and revolutions, men are only an obstacle. We, gentlemen, are only to be demonized, demoralized, and sedated with pornography or video games and guilt-ridden into being ashamed of our own masculinity. Or so the dreams of the woke go. We stand in their way. However, they are not capable of removing us by pure power, so they turn to using insidious methods and infantilizing, therefore neutralizing the power we possess. Make no mistake, a power that can be used for both good and evil. It is a clear sign of possessive ideology when one paints something only from one side as purely good or evil, therefore simplifying the world to fit their hidden agendas. Mother Nature is pure and innocent with her snakes, malaria, and earthquakes. Men are toxic, power-hungry tyrants stopping civilization from collapsing by working vigorous jobs nobody else could. Do not let ideology blind, weaken, and divide us. Serve the truth. Our purpose and fate as men is to expand the garden as was told to Adam. We shall never abandon this responsibility. We are the ones bringing light and order into this unexplainable world. Man is not a piano key, as Dostoevsky put it, and good luck trying to prove otherwise. Happy reading.